All right, team, going to try a little Screencastify. I hope this works, and I hope you can hear me really well. Um, as a quick, 10-minute review for the test, um, the best thing to do would be to kind of take a quick look through this overview. We have talked about some of this stuff already, but so I'm not going to reread any of that stuff. As far as additional resources, there's crash course videos, there's the textbook, which is in the back corner of the room. If you want to check that out, you can. The Gilder Lehrman website has a good overview. The Khan Academy always has a good overview. Any of those are great resources. And of course, your class notes. The various topics that are listed that start with 2.1 and go all the way down to 2.8, those are all topics that are given by the College Board, the organization that creates the exam. So those are the 8 topics you're expected to be familiar with for this exam. And what I've done is I've added different videos and articles and whatnot to help add to what we've done in class that relate to that particular topic. So, for example, topic 2.2, European colonization. We took notes over New France and New Netherlands and New Spain and, of course, the British colonies. So we did all that stuff in class. But there is a video, there's an article, there's also the graphic organizer that we did as an assignment that would all be helpful things to study over that particular topic. So these are all things that you can do in class if you want to use your class time to do those. So again, I would just go through topic by topic and kind of read through what you have as in terms of information there for studying. As far as the exam itself, so typically our exams are 2 class periods, 1 class period for the multiple choice and 1 for the free response essay. We're going to do it a little bit differently for our first test. We're going to do the multiple choice in class on Monday. It's going to be 35 questions, and it is a timed test. So you do have to have it done, or whatever you do have done by the end of the class is what you are done with. So make sure that you are ready to rock and roll, and we'll get started right away on Monday when the bell rings. I put best way to prepare. One thing I'll add to that is making sure that you're taking practice tests online. Those can be really helpful and make the multiple choice less intimidating. But again, that will be in class on Monday. The free response exam, which again would normally be done in class, but I'm kind of viewing this as a trial run. So rather than making you do the first one with no notes, no nothing, we're going to make it take home. And I even put a link to the actual period 2 free response exam. So I'll open that really quickly, even though you can obviously do this yourself. Maybe I'll open it really quickly. Oh my gosh. Okay, so those are the 2 questions. You choose one of those questions. Don't do both of them. You choose one of those questions, okay? So that's kind of the setup for the free response. Now, let's talk a little bit about this as far as down here. You will, the exam is take home. You have to turn it in whenever you arrive on Monday. So you'll actually do this before the multiple choice. So I don't care whether you do this in class on Thursday or Friday. If you take it home and do it, I don't care. But it's got to be done before class on Monday. If not, it's late. You do have to handwrite your exam. You also need to underline your thesis statement and the topic sentence of each paragraph before you turn it in. And I'll remind you of that on Monday if you have forgotten. 2 good resources. One is Heimler on the LEQ, which is a 10-minute video that you can watch. The other one, I'm going to go ahead and open it so I can lead you through it, is My Helpful LEQ Outline, which I hope is helpful. I guess my goal is that you'll find it helpful. So in this outline, this is a standard outline for an LEQ, which stands for long essay question. Notice the question at the top. Choose two of the following and analyze their impact on colonial North American development between 1620 and 1763. So you're reading the question, reread the question, make sure you understand what it's asking, break it down into whatever simple way you need to break it down to in order to be successful. Your introductory paragraph starts with 2 to 3 sentences of contextualization. And what that means is you are going to place your answer in the context of what's going on before and or after the question is being asked. So in this case, the dates of the question, 1620 to 1763. So notice for my sample 2 to 3 sentences of contextualization, I actually begin with 1607 in order to, again, prove to the reader, which is in this case me, prove to the grader that you understand where this event takes place in history, how it fits in with things that are happening around it. Just need a few sentences. But a lot of students start their essay just boom, right with a thesis, and that is not a good strategy. You always want to contextualize at the very beginning, and then you hit the reader with your thesis statement. Thesis statement does two very clear things. Number one, it establishes a clear argument for the rest of the essay. It needs to be very obvious to me if your question is you're choosing two of the following and analyzing their impact on colonial North America. When I read your thesis, it better be very clear which two you're analyzing and what their impact was. The other thing is it should contain 2 to 3 statements of support for your argument that will then become the topic sentences for the body paragraphs in your essay. The fancy way of saying this is they establish a line of reasoning. And so I put a sample there of what might be a good thesis statement. Notice the thesis statement is not just one sentence. Some classes will say, yep, thesis statement's got to be one sentence. This class is not necessarily like that. You don't want a lengthy thesis statement, but if it's longer than one sentence, that's totally fine. Your body paragraphs are where you basically duplicate your lines of reasoning from your thesis statement. So notice that my statement about salutary neglect is similar to the statement that is part of my thesis. And then in the rest of that body paragraph, I'm using facts to support my position, which was that salutary neglect was not like some one quick decisive event, but rather a death by 1,000 cuts type of situation. And so I have proof of that in my facts. I talk about mercantilism. I talk about colonial assemblies, local governors, et cetera, et cetera. So body paragraph 2 is about slavery. And same thing, I make sure in my topic sentence, which you should underline, to say how it supports your thesis statement, and then use a bunch of facts in the paragraph. This is where we name drop like crazy. If you can, do it. And since you're taking home the essay, everyone should be really good at name dropping because you can look up names. So that should be great. Conclusion, this is always something that surprises students. You do not need a conclusion unless you feel like it's necessary. Like you get done with your essay and you're like, I think I said everything I need to say, but maybe I need to tie this all together a little bit better. Slap a conclusion on the end if you need to, but you receive no points for the conclusion. So it is not necessary. All right. So back to the exam. That is basically all the info that I think you need. But please feel free to email or ask questions before Monday, and I'll try to help you out.